Aha. All right. We are live. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Welcome everybody. We'll give folks a little bit of time to log in and get started here, but we are back at it. So we had taken a few weeks off just with the holidays and getting Andy back on as well. So we have today's topic is focused on the database in and of itself, existing opportunities, and the focus really being there. We'll talk a little bit about the work that you can do to re-energize the database. You think about the vendors that are at your disposal to re-engage those existing leads, why that's important, costs and margins within your business. We can touch on compliance and why the strategies we'll talk about are going to be really helpful for those that had more of that mass marketing strategies that were deployed within the business, knowing things are changing, rising costs of messaging going up, rising costs of overhead with hiring and firing individuals within your organization. And then we want some Q&A from those that are on live. We have some questions that were already sourced ahead of time, just regarding around like actionable, like what's actually working today. Things are constantly changing for both of our respective businesses. And so we'll highlight just what our teams have been focused on, and what you can expect as we head throughout 2026 and what awaits. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you, Andy. For those that weren't a part of the previous webinars that we have done together, why don't you just introduce yourself, introduce how you and I and our teams have been working together, the customers that we're serving, and from there we'll get started with the agenda and get right into it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. So if they missed the last one, they should go back and watch that one. But, yeah. any more screen time. But Andy Shear, founder of Refocus Marketing. Essentially, we're a modern marketing agency. We do everything in terms of inbound and content marketing, along with running ads along the way. We install a growth engine for small businesses, real estate agents, lenders, insurance agencies, all service-based businesses essentially is where we go. So a lot of times we'll run into folks that don't necessarily have the strategy, or they don't know what a true marketing strategy would look like. So we put that piece in place, and then we handle everything under the sun, really, except for print mail, even though that might be coming up here in a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah. So for those that don't, like, when you say growth engine,
how
I equate that is like, it is what lends itself to more predictable, transferable, and scalable revenue. Like, so what I've loved in working with their teams and our clients is the fact that, like, you get folks out of being hamster on a wheel of like, where am I finding my next deal? And they get to focus on like the true things that drive the value of the business. And so the systems and the processes, the standard operating procedures of what you do. So when people see marketing in the Refocus Marketing, directly as to like, oh, maybe this is another lead gen provider,
right?
But you guys do so much more than that, and it really is like, as you put your ownership hat on, is it builds the value of your business so that one day it's more valuable, versus the constant turn and burn of buying new leads. And so that's where we've really hit off a really great relationship, and the synergies between us, because where we've taken the Business Agent Legend since we acquired it has been really focused on all of the gold that's in the old of the database, because that's where we know we can unlock the most margin. So for those that are operating, if you don't know your margin, well, first you got to start there. What are you dropping?
It's a good place to start. Yeah.
You see a lot of people out on social media, even your peers, that pump their arms around top line revenue, transaction volume, agent
count. GCI, whatever else or anything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Means it doesn't mean anything if you're not netting anything at the end of the day. There's no value to what you're building. And we want to make sure, given all of the consolidation that's happening in the industry over the last couple of years and today, I mean, the Anywhere brands the Anywhere deal getting done with Compass, that's a monumental deal. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to continue to happen. And so as we continue forward with our content for the remainder of 2026, is going to be really laser focused on unlocking the value in your database. And so for those that registered for this, you saw some like the compliance side that has changed things from messaging. It's very, very tactical, and we'll touch on that a little bit. But I really want you to pay close attention as to how the items that we talk about building more predictability in your business before you go out and buy the next flashy cool tool that's out there, the new lead vendor, these other solutions that exist out there, Agent Legend being one of them. We're in that mix, right? But it all gets down into how do we turn the existing asset that you have, which is going to be your database, into that more predictable engine and the strategies that Andy and his team can provide you. So I want to touch on that. I think it's very important. But if you don't mind, Andy, again, talk about, I'd like for you to start with really the process that you guys run. And when you start out with a client, and then maybe talk about like who your dream clients are, so people understand again who you work with and why. So that kind of frames up, and then we'll riff and we'll go after that of some of the items that we want to make sure that we're talking through. For those that are on right now, looks like we have upwards of about 30 people and growing here as we're continuing along. Please ask questions or any feedback in the comments, because we want to use our time today just answering the things that are top of mind for you. So if you just joined, we're going to be diving into, again, how we're taking your existing asset that you have and turning it into more predictable and scalable and transferable engine. We'll touch on some other topics around the way, but that's going to be the root of what we're really laser focused on. So Andy, I'm going to toss it over to you. Why don't you highlight some of those items around like how your process unfolds, and then again, how the synergies are with Agent Legend as well.
Yeah. So I think you were starting to nail it, dude. The predictability and actually understanding where the most profitable piece or the most profitable focus is for these small business owners is incredibly important. So literally we start there, right? So a lot of the conversations that we have are exactly that. They step in and it's like, hey, we're going to get a lift in qualified sales conversations. Yes, that's an absolute byproduct of what we're going to do in terms of installing this marketing or modern marketing growth engine. That being said, we start with a 21-day deep dive into their business. So we're going through like what their lead sources are, what their database looks like. One of the biggest pieces that I love with what you guys are providing is, and you go in as far as going in depth into the ideal client personas. Those things are mapped up inside of the CRMs for the most part. There's a lead scoring system that's inside of there to help people understand what the propensity is for them to actually purchase or move forward. So there's so much more data that you guys are providing and enriching along the way versus like what we normally run into. And it's just name, phone number, email address, and maybe there's an address and maybe we know what they opted in for in the past, so that's really where we start. And it's where the lead source is coming from, what's their database currently look like, who their ideal client is. And again, I love the synergy that we have when we work together with those things. And then we start to get strategic. We say, hey, what is the true strategic push from core messaging? And what's that one core message that we want to push out for the first quarter that we're working together? And what's the second quarter look like? And we get fine-tuned and specific inside of that messaging channel. And then we're going into the database and actually, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you off because I want people to understand that focus that you bring, right? Refocus. That's part of your brand. Come on now.
It's a thing. It's why we named it.
So give us some examples, like, for those that are here, like give us a good example of, I know a couple that can come is you mentioned how, again, clarity around who your ICP is, your ideal customer profile, start there, understanding who you're talking to. That's how we've worked together, right? We actually dig in and understand the consumer side of who's actually in that database. What's your propensity for first-time home buyers, move-up buyers, downsizers? And anecdotally, I think a lot of people may know that, but they, other than in your CRM, it's a name, phone, and email. Mm-hmm. You truthfully don't know who and how to serve that person. And so we start there, cleaning and segmenting. But give us that example of how you're helping with the messaging once you kind of know who you're talking to. What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, God, I love this question. So I'll go and pull me back out because I'm going to go into the depths. So we will go into essentially like marketing speak is like top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, right?
Yep.
So like we're looking all the time at what's the internal dialogue look like for your ideal client persona? Who do you really want to work with? And what are you going to be doing this quarter, if you will, to enhance the value for those particular people? What are we going to give away this quarter? Are we going to do an event this quarter? Are you doing a community event this quarter? Maybe a nonprofit organization that you're going to partner with? And we want to get really specific around skating where the puck is going to go. Honestly, it's, hey, this is where we're going to find them in person. And then also online, this is where we're going to find them. And the narrative inside of our emails then shifts around how they speak. And it's also understanding, again, that top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. A lot of the times people are going to, they only want to work with the people that are the 16 percenters, the folks that are ready to move right now. And we know that if we're doing that, there's a large chunk. There's 84% of people that we are just simply missing who are going to transact 18 months down the road, 12 months down the road. They're just not ready yet. So we're crafting all of it.
Why would I spend money? I mean, I get them. Are you telling me as the business owner to spend money on those people?
100%.
Aren't going to be
time, energy, and money. Absolutely. Because it's the relationship that matters the most, right? Like, at the end of the day, people are going to, well, they'll start to think about working with the people that they know, like, and trust. And then you're demonstrating that you can actually solve the problem or provide the value, and you have the authority at that point.
Yep.
So that's where, for us, the retargeting aspect and why we say that the gold is inside of that database and why that database is always going to be churning and burning for you is simply that, like, you have all of those relationships up inside that only 16% are ready to move right now. Mm-hmm. 84% of people, as long as you nurture it the right way and you have a single streamlined message for your brand, for your authority, when they go to transact, you already have all of the objection handles. You've handled everything essentially, so that when they talk with you, they're ready to move forward at that point. They don't even have any other questions. It's just a yes, let's go. You got this. Yeah. So that's how we get to that strategy piece. But the only way that we can get there is by understanding what the ICP actually is.
Yeah.
And if we're going in with blank slate, name, phone number, address, email address, or whatever else, or maybe what they opted in for, we have such limited information. So that's when we end up diving in. And again, a lot of what you guys overlay and enrich inside of that data is such a huge aspect to how we're starting to re-navigate that retargeting information or that messaging for that matter. Yeah. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it does. So you said a couple of things. I got my notes rolling here. So I'm going to keep peppering you with more questions because I'm hoping that some of those that are attending you also see it. So yes, on the data integrity, that's Agent Legend, right? Message us. We'll figure that out. We help you clean everything up. But a lot of this is predicated on you. And you mentioned skating where the puck is going to go. And there's two parts to what I'm going to ask you here. If I'm the business owner, are you helping me identify where that puck is going to go theoretically?
Yes.
So you mentioned a number of tactics. Do you guys take me through tactics that should work in my market? Or I guess, you're rinsing and repeating based off of, what's working today.
Yeah. So like, obviously we work with a number of clients and you asked me to identify like who our dream client is. And it really is like the small business owner, right? So whether you have when I say small business owner, it's not the solopreneur that we're really looking for. Who we work with really well with is like teams of 5 or more. They are a little bit more founder led, so we can help them and almost transform them from being founder led to being systems and strategy led. And folks that are doing, at least 500,000, if not upwards of 3 million in annual revenue is really what we're looking for. So That being said, to your question, without hesitation, dude, it's an understanding of who your ideal audience is. I mean, we've gone to the route of if on the real estate side, if your target audience is an upsizer, okay, great. Are you sponsoring youth sports teams?
Yeah.
Not yet. Okay. So that might be something that you want to look at. Do you have something in place where, like, what's your open house strategy when you actually host an open house? How are you then fine tuning and going after those people and inviting those people to that particular open house? Are you involved in any other nonprofits that would benefit that sort of audience or that sort of ICP that you're trying to go after? the social media messaging and what's going out there. Are we giving them guides or local community guides? Are we releasing something that is family oriented, or hey, you're looking for more space, so this is other things, or these are other things that you can do for areas or homes with more space. I'm going on the real estate side because it's a little bit easier to talk about, but that's the messaging that we're looking to go with. And without hesitation, dude, it's a yes, we want you to go here. We want you to be in the community. We want to connect you further that way.
So I'm sure you hear this, is like, how do I outcompete with Zillow if that's where consumers are going first, or, the portals? Like, if I'm in a business, I mean, I know that's in the top of a lot of our clients' minds. Like, if you can't beat them, just join them. Like, am I burning this money? What is the true, like, how do you attribute, these dollars back in the pockets of your clients?
Yeah. So well, I will tell you, I'm probably going to be a little bit overconfident on this one, but maybe not. For everyone that we run Google pay-per-click for, we shatter Zillow results.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that being said, you get ahead of the game, right? Like, Zillow is transactional. So everyone who's on Zillow, it is like, outside of the schemers and the dreamers, because we know that those are out there, and we know what population that typically is. So people are in there looking to transact. They're looking to actually go and see a house. But again, like with how we operate, it is very video led. So we're getting out there with short form video. We're getting out there with long form video. We're also now starting to see domination through some of our content for like AI engines. So we're showing up organically inside of AI engines right now as well. Google business profile optimization. So we get ahead of all of what Zillow's trying to do. We capture the eyeballs first, like 24 months prior to them visiting Zillow at that point. Yep. And then it's just a nurture game from there. It's the re-engagement campaigns, and it's the folks who haven't opened up an email in the last 90 days, but we know that they're interested at that point just because of life cycle. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to everyone wants to point to like, what's your return on ad spend, or what's your return on anything else around, like, that's not it. Like, what you're looking for, dude. And I can give you some staggering freaking numbers when it comes to ROAS. Like, if we really want to go down that route without a hesitation, like, I can make $500 inside of.
If anybody wants those results, message us and we'll make sure we get them to you. Those metrics are neat. Where I was hoping to lead you is skating to where the puck is going. Ultimately, is how do we all think about? So there's two mindsets here, and I will use the big Z in general. Is if you can't beat them, join them. There's tremendous risk there. So as we're meeting, I was just with a couple of our clients. We do a little mini mastermind internally with some of our advisors / clients that help us with our growth roadmap here. And one of them was saying how like 85% of their GCI or revenue, top line revenue, is coming from Zillow. 85%. So, but he said, look, I'm still profitable. Things are fine. Sure. We're very lean in other areas. And so, but for him, what's keeping him up at night is obviously channel risk, right? For those
100%,
risk, it is, and this is why I love having you on, is because you solve that. Is you build the sustainability for real estate businesses. When the industry is doing great, Zillow is a phenomenal channel because consumers are out there. They're out there actively searching, and then you're still accumulating those opportunities. And one would hope that those percentages dilute over time because you want to convert lifetime value of those customers.
Without question, yeah.
But then I sat with one of the other people chimed in and said, dude, we got to help you. And theirs was in like the 30%. Like, they're one of the top flex teams in their respective market. And they have implemented a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. Like, I'm saying this for a reason because, when I ran our real estate business, a lot of this was fluffy. It was ROAS and marketing speak. But at the end of the day, the people who are here really just care about, how is this going to generate more predictable revenue for my company moving forward? And I'm not relying upon other channel providers,
Mhm.
other portals to send me that, because that is not transferable. That is tough to scale in general. So that's where some of this was heading. And so for those that are listening, like it is putting in the dollars. Like at the end of the day, a relationship like a flex, there's dollars. You're just
Yeah.
paying in a different way. So being very cognizant of, and Andy's team, like what's great is like you guys can be flexible in certain instances to make sure that you can support these types of strategies. Because if you were to start 6 months ago, you're way ahead of the game. And people always
Oh
hear
my
this,
God.
but it is making sure that you are carving out a budget. If you're in this for the long run, right? If this is a lifestyle business for you, probably not relevant for what you're doing. But this is a way, this is the reason why we want to have you on regularly is defensibility, like a
Yeah.
defensible that helps you stand out in not only the market you're in today, but as you grow, one would think you go into new markets and now you just have a head start on everybody else. And you're actually building a real business that has tangible value when things are handed off.
Well, I
So
think you hit it, dude. You're hitting the home run there, right? Like the single legged stool, it only hurts when you sit down. So when you when you have,
I've never heard that analogy ever.
well, there you go.
Well done.
Well, there you go. I have another one, but we'll refrain that for a different time. So if you only have one source of revenue, or if that is your bulk source of revenue, that thing starts to shift. And I mean, how many times has Zillow shifted?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there was just an email a couple of weeks ago that was like, "Hey, we're changing this program," and then all of a sudden, agents are scrambling at that point in time. And now you have the Anywhere deal as well with how Compass is going to operate, and Lord only knows where that's going to go. And the best example that I can, like, what we do again, I don't know any other way than to phrase it as an engine. And it's not about your ad spend, which is the craziest freaking part. Everyone is like, okay, well, what do I need to spend on ads? At the end of the day, like, we're going into, hey, is your audience going to be on Facebook? Are they going to be on Instagram? Are they going to be on LinkedIn? Are they going to be on Google? Are they going to be on TikTok? And
Yep.
then we build out the content that way too. And one of our clients, I mean, dude, they off of on organic, zero ad spend, just following the process, recording exactly what we tell them to record, 43 freaking leads off of an organic video that they just said, hey, comment this particular word, and 43 leads came through. And I mean, real estate agents are getting referrals nonstop through TikTok. Has a great reach, and there's zero ad spend for those platforms.
If you have any good examples, I mean, that stuff right there, you're giving the playbook. Like if you have Andy as a follow-up, like send those out. Lita on our team is on as well, and she can syndicate that out. Cause I want to make sure people that are listening to this, like hopefully you're in your car driving to an appointment. Cause we're in the weeds on a lot of this. So speed us up if you're viewing the recording, but the examples you give there is like, you're giving the playbook for those that aren't comfortable on camera. We hear this all the time is like, you got to figure it out. Right. I don't know if there's a different way of putting it. But
there is just more aggressive, but yeah.
Yeah. Or find somebody that you can bring in that has that superpower.
That's it right there. Yeah.
Team, put that person in there.
And to that end too, man, we talk to business owners who are like, well, listen, I'm in the weeds myself. I'm up on a roof. I'm doing contractor work. I'm doing whatever that is. I mean, we go to the extent of, okay, so post on your local Facebook group and find a brand ambassador who's not afraid of video. They can lead out that process. And honestly, it's like 5 to 10 hours a week for them to do what they need to do. And they can bring you in to deliver the founder story and prompt you for those things. It's just a cakewalk at that point.
Another item is also, as we talk about channel risk, there's also risk. And I see this a lot in real estate. We all like to pump ourselves up. But for those that are building a business that they want to be worth something one day, make sure it's not just you in front of it. If it's and there's two ways that we'll talk about this. You've probably heard them before, but if you're the only person in the videos, you are deemed as you are the business. Some people like that ego trip, but there's risk if you ever want to hand off that business to somebody else. So Andy, in yours, do you recommend like, hey, here's the strategy, but I need everybody in the organization to be recording videos so it builds that holistic brand? It's not just dependent on the owner. Do you do any of that stuff when you're kind of coaching your clients up?
Yeah, it actually depends on, so for us, it depends on the business or the business type. So on the real estate side specifically, it's a lot of the founder led, but if it's a larger team, if you have 20 to 30 people, 40 people on your team, we're trying to pull from other key leaders inside of your team that can also show the culture, right? So on a bigger team, typically what we're trying to do is about, I don't know, 30% of the videos is coming from the founder. The rest can absolutely come from the team. And so when we meet with the teams, it's, hey, can you pull in from this person? Can you pull in from Jason? Can you pull in from Kaylee? Can you pull in from whoever? And it just provides a different level of again, freeing that founder from the revenue source and the day-to-day intricacies of the business.
Yep. Love it. All right, cool. So let's get back, unless there's more we want to riff on there, I want to bring us back to really the title of today was like using AI-powered database intelligence without adding another tool to your tech stack. But for those that tuned in and want to know like the AI side of this, what are you guys doing with the marketing side to like really create efficiencies with your process and using AI to help your customers?
Honestly, dude, we don't do much with AI.
Okay.
It helps with like, you guys are probably, because of our partnership with you guys, like what you guys do is probably the most extensive that we actually put in place. I mean, we merged and we work with AI voice companies. We work with obviously you guys who have an AI side of the database management. So we work with all of those tools, but for like us internally, it is human creative, dude. And it's a lot of research as to what's going to work. I mean, probably the biggest tool that we use is like Perplexity, and that's just to do the research around, and it just speeds up our research process for what content our clients need to be putting out there. But we're probably gonna be one of the only ones to say that, well, we're not really using AI as extensively as what a lot of other folks are.
Yeah, interesting. Well, hopefully we can bring you on and like, okay, there's two sides of it. Is AI can go way off the rails and you're no longer it's like you're skating to where the puck is at. So there's like that organic kind of, we don't want to say old school, but there's probably some validation in like not cheating. Like if there's that cheating aspect around what we do, we see a lot of people churning out content like crazy. And their methodology is more, let's just throw stuff out and hope some shit sticks. It sounds like yours is a lot more intentional. It is a longer term strategy, which is that is again something that I would be into for sure. That long term aspect, but people want immediacy, so it's you kind of got to balance some of that. What I was going to highlight for users is the how we partner with you on using artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
I always tell people that we are the most boring artificial intelligence solution that's out there. You see a lot that. Whether it's AI voice, AI texting, and the certain like widgets that can be deployed out there. Well, we've made the decision to first start with, let's figure out who your people are in your database and using artificial intelligence to actually do the analysis. So what AI is really, really good at, and you've mentioned Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, some of the platforms. So for those that are new, go and check those out and start playing around with them. But what it's really good at is analyzing huge amounts of data efficiently. And so what you all have, the people that are still on this call as you're watching the recording, is that database. Your database is your biggest asset, in every data point that runs through there, every data point from a lead coming into the system, to all the conversations that you're having with them, to all of the emails and items that you're doing, retargeting, and the items that you're doing to generate activity within that database. That's all an asset for you. And 99% of people aren't using it. They're not using it like, imagine Amazon, how they use their data to recommend products for you. Imagine Target, Best Buy, these retailers that they need to figure out how to get you into the store more. And so they're analyzing consumer data as much as they possibly can. And they have teams and teams of people to do that. And that informs the strategy. So how we work together is we first use the data that you already have in your database. That is huge. That's first. That is the first big thing, because we first have to understand who to talk to and how to engage with them. So that segmentation is big, and you can use the power of artificial intelligence. And then where we bring data in, and this is what we've been laser focused on, is going out and gathering these consumer insights. So the ability to, when a name, phone, and email gets pinged into your database, is it accurate? We'll do that automatically for you, and we'll clean that up, and we'll segment that appropriately. Who is that lead? First-time home buyer, move-up buyer, investor. Where are they at in their home ownership journey? First-timer, have they done this number of times? And then ultimately, where are they in the decision-making process? So this, Andy, is where you guys flex. Is this and most people in the industry get this wrong. They assume that brand new shiny lead ready to buy. They're not. They're what we deem as a marketing qualified lead, and the teams need to be educated around that. So your teams, whoever's fielding that first line of defense, we have our playbooks of how we recommend doing things just based off of proven success in the past. But marketing qualified leads, top of the funnel, let your marketing efforts and your systems work that opportunity down. And then you really got to focus on the sales qualified leads. These are the people that are showing the activity, not only in your database. So most people are chasing activity. I see this all the time. Email opens, a perceived hand raiser, property views, all these things. And then you sick a salesperson on them and you're like, hey, you looking to buy? No. And that leads to opt-outs. And that's where we talk. That's what we wanted to really go into a little bit, is the risk of doing that. So reaching the right people, right message, right time. What your system is really good at is keeping the brand front and center. And then what our system does to complement that is keeping that data, that database really well-oiled, operationalized, crystal clear segments of people to go after. So for those of you using a CRM, I hope everybody on here is. But let's just use a couple of our favorites. We'll call it Follow-Up Boss. What I see all the time when I log into there is you might have 60 different lists for your team to work. Stop that. You are creating inefficiencies. You're causing confusion, and confusion doesn't break inertia. And so simplification is better. You can do that easily. Your team does that. Our team can help clarify these things so that you aren't just adding new things to your team's plate, and you can simplify that workflow. And then what you really, as a business owner, you need to focus time and money, your precious resource, on just sales qualified leads. And that's where you're either in investing in the people to go after and to nurture them appropriately, or the systems. And so, Andy, I just want to make sure I'm perfectly clear for the audience. Your system is really great for the 90%. Those are the marketing qualified leads, top of the funnel. And then when it gets to the sales qualified leads, that's when you want your client to take over and to really take that person to the finish line. Am I accurate in that, or is there a different kind of setup that you guys have deployed that's effective as well?
So we believe that the sale starts when the person first says yes.
Okay.
So it's really, really easy to generate leads. It's really, really difficult to stay in touch with and top of mind with leads.
Okay.
So again, we go back to that process and that system, if you will. And the reason why we're so gosh darn video led is because there's no psychological difference from someone seeing you and your face or your team's face on their phone versus them seeing it on a big screen. Like the human brain doesn't separate that level of authority. You just don't do it. So the more that they see you, the more that they have perceived authority. Yeah. So for us, as soon as that lead is generated, and obviously you guys are enriching it, and then we're able to then get further into the ICP side, we're showing them and doing through like retargeting videos. They're going to see your video, at least one video, 2 times every single 7 days. They watch 15 seconds of that video, they get brought into a different custom audience, and we literally will just continue to show them different videos and different CTAs to then just walk them down the funnel. We know that we have 12 months on average for a real estate lead to then transact. We have 12 months of content, 12 months of video funnels and custom audiences set up to walk them through being a marketing qualified lead. And then we help them with conversion rate optimization go from marketing over to sales qualified lead. So without a hesitation, dude, you're spot on for everything. And obviously the emails are part of that, right? But at the same time, the video side is where everyone's going to end up seeing a lot of traction being made.
Really neat. So when you, one thing that I want to pull up really quickly, and I was going to try to get my screen to share here, is when you guys work with a client, do you guys set them up? Do you set like a process flow? Like, look at this. This is ours. So
Yep.
this is a nightmare. It looks like a nightmare, but you can drill down. You can truly understand the traffic funnels. We measure everything, even in these webinars, right? Like, is this a good use of the 3 hours or so preparation that we do? And so you can see how detailed we have it, where, for those that are in attendance, what happens after, and then how do we make sure your onboarding goes smoothly, and how do we retain you? Do you guys do any of this or with your clients with how when you say a 12-month content stream and these items, my mind being in that seat previously was like, that just seems like a lot, but also like it feels like if it's systematized that it can be an asset. Do you guys do much of that?
So we don't necessarily take it through Miro. But yes, in terms of our how we launch that 21 to 30 day launch period, we're going in depth with all of that, whether it's lead sources, the client journey, where people fall out, where people actually convert. So we're actually walking through, and honestly, some of the inefficiencies of some of these teams or other small businesses. And if there's inefficiencies around transition from marketing over to sales, we're having those conversations as well. So simple answer is yes. It obviously goes a little bit more in depth from there.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. That's helpful. So I don't know if we've gotten any questions yet as well, but Andy, if there's anything else that you want to continue to riff on, I know we're actually plowing along with our time here. I did want Lita, if you don't mind posting a couple of those links that we had for those that are in attendance, as we talk about systematizing and bringing more predictability into your business. There's two that we generally start with. And then Andy, I want you to speak to your solution that you sent me and post your link as well, because that is super slick. But for those just like to get value and to break inertia here, because a lot of this is kind of fluffy pie in the sky. The first resource link is going to be for those of you that haven't worked with us in the past, is a complimentary just database analysis. So we worked through what we do for anybody who is considering our platform is we'll actually go in and we'll segment your database and we'll identify incomplete or inaccurate information of your leads. So there's two sides of it. You can either purge and delete those contacts out of your database. If you don't want to, we take the stance of like, you paid for that lead at some point in the past, or you invested time to generate that lead in the past. So we highly recommend that we clean it up. And so that's the big data component, is we can go and find that information. And then now you have a stable foundation by which to work off of. And then we put together just a couple of like the campaigns that we activate again. So we talked about right people, right message, right time. And so every message that you deploy costs money, right? And so that is our bread and butter, is making sure we laser focus those messages on the right people. And so we just have some campaigns that consistently produce, I think upwards of like a 40% response rate over time. And so that response rate lends itself to the conversations that we all need to have that are honest, because we're still in the human business. And now you overlay that with what Andy and his team have done. I think to your point, Andy, your sentiment was more of like, there's not much selling that needs to happen because they've seen your name, they've seen your brand. So you've let the whole marketing qualified funnel, awareness, decision-making process. Now the messaging starts kicking in at the right appropriate time. And now you're fielding those conversations. And guess what? Those get added as deals. And you guys got it the rest of the way. For those that are in attendance, like, all you need are the conversations, and now you're in your wheelhouse. Our goal is to help you with like the first couple steps in there. So take advantage of those links. Get started if you haven't already done it. I highly encourage you to do that. And then Andy, take us through the exercise or that audit that you mentioned that you guys do that may be of value as well. And we can post that link in the chat, or you can as well.
Sweet. I keep the link really simple. So it's just growthaudit.refocusmarketing.com. So for for our time together, it's a 45-minute in-depth call. We're going through lead sources and fallout from where the leads are going. And again, everything that I'm looking at in terms of your marketing, and the work goes on after that. So it is not necessarily we don't do those for free, but it's the lowest thing that we have, if you will. But you spend 45 minutes with me, and then literally my entire team goes to work on looking through your Facebook, your IG, your TikTok. We'll ask for like some email examples from you. We're looking through your website. We're looking at your Google business profile, and then obviously taking all of your lead sources. And then we're giving you a straight up action plan on how to fix some of those bottlenecks. So you walk out of that call with utter clarity, and then an action plan for the next 90 days in order to fix it.
Love it. Yeah, I saw this. So yeah, you didn't share it, but there is a small charge, but that is also the joy of, right? You're investing time. So, you get like heads down, focused effort on it. So view it as an investment. So I really, really think that is quite powerful as well. So if there aren't any other questions, if you have any that you want to riff on here with the remaining time that we have, we can certainly do so. But we did get through really the keys to what I believe we both wanted to bring awareness to in this call. I'm just looking through some of the bullets that you had put in here, but you did put in the charge or the challenge. So take us through what you had in mind for what is our challenge for those that are here.
So at least for me, dude, I think when we're looking at a re-engagement campaign or come back to us or whatever other people are trying to call this thing, I think first is defining audience. So number one, to choose which audience you guys are going to be going after first. Typically, we're looking at who are the Caspers of the group. So are they opening up emails? They're just not talking with people. Are they visiting a website, but they're not taking any other action? So that would be number one. Number two would be that inactive subscriber. So they've opted into things, and we're sending them properties, or we're sending them other information. And really what I would do is cut off after like 90 days. So they've opted in, but they're not really doing anything else. That would be my second audience that I would encourage you guys to go after. The third is, this is a client recapture. So the client recapture, how I deem that is, who are the buyers, the sellers that have gone over a certain amount of time, right? So 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Maybe you've lost contact. Maybe you've treated them like an ex at that point in time. But you're getting back engaged with them. So that would be my third audience. And honestly, like that audience, folks, has a baseline of a 15% return. So if you have 100 close clients, you have 15, they're going to come back through, or you have the referral opportunities from those folks as well.
Yeah.
The third is then the folks that are warm right now, but they are, they've booked with you, but they haven't made a decision at that point. Those folks just need a little bit more proof that you know exactly what you're talking about, that you can solve their problems, that when they're ready, the time actually makes sense to reach out to you. So challenge number one would be to identify audience first.
Yep. Got it. I love it. All right. So I don't think we have any other questions that are coming through here. So let's wrap this up. We gave a couple giveaways away, or just some freebies. I would take you up on that audit, your growth audit, the growth audit.
Well, I think the other thing too, dude, like you asked about the playbook, if you will, for video. More than happy to give that out as a freebie too for anyone that wants that.
Yeah, we'll send that out to those that registered. That'd be great if you have something that
absolutely.
And then for those that, like, if you don't have a clear and defined strategy, the content strategy, I think the overall, like the theme that I put in my notes is like skating where the puck is going. That's both with education on the market, knowing what channels to double down on and when and where. I think you guys are incredibly valuable. Where the industry is heading, everybody's got their ears perked up. So, making sure that you're talking about things that are happening 60 days from now, and understanding what that looks like and going after that. That's big. And then you let your systems continue to take the reins, and then you just make them more predictable and scalable, ultimately over time. So we do have another session with you in a couple of weeks, Andy. So, pay attention for those that registered. Obviously, you're on our email distribution list. If you're seeing it on social media, go to our site and get on our list. And we'll keep you guys abreast as we're continuing forward. But this is our first of 2026, and we'll keep knocking them out as we continue forward. Joe, I'll answer your last question and then we will get off here. So Joe said, if my database is new into FUB, how does this help? Tremendously. So we're basically going to help you. You have what is called a cold start problem. This is what we define as a cold start. And that's no different of if these were new leads, but you don't know who these leads are and you don't know where they are in their path to purchase. We tell you that very simply. And we just provide you that data. So that is as clear as I'll make it there. And then you let Follow Up Boss over time collect more first party data to give you more of those insights. So we're happy to walk you through that. And great to see you, Joe. I think you just signed up for Agent Legends. So excited to see you on the webinar. But Andy, appreciate your time, your wealth of knowledge. I think that the reason why we want to continue to do these is marketing. It's sometimes it just feels fluffy. And I think that you guys are executing at a high caliber, not just, you mentioned small business owners, but not just real estate, mortgage, but you're able to glean some other learnings from the other industries that you play within. So you have been just a tremendous partner for us. So we are excited to continue to partner with you with any of the clients that are on now or in the future as well. So thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Thank you everybody for taking the time. And we'll talk to you hopefully soon. Thanks everyone.
See you guys.